What's up, guys? Jay, MorninAfterKill, and welcome back! Welcome back to another episode of my weekly Q&A. I know a lot of you motherfuckers are probably wondering why it's going live on a Monday again for the second week in a row instead of a Sunday. And, well, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't feel like doing shit yesterday. I had that extra episode of Tales from the Borderlands left over for you guys. And I figured, you know what? Fuck it. Most of you guys in America have Monday off for President's Day. And like I said, I'm just gonna keep it real with you. Content is a little bit light on the derp cities these days, so I said fuck it. Instead of uploading the Q&A yesterday and then scrambling today to figure out what I'm gonna upload, I'll give you guys the Tales from the Borderlands yesterday, hang out with my girlfriend for the Valentine's Day, pop up the Q&A today, and later on tonight, we'll live stream on Twitch the last episode of Tales from the Borderlands episode 5, which will give us a few more days to put together some higher quality, non-rushed videos for you guys, because I don't want to just force Destiny videos out there when there's not really much to go on about. But once we figure out what Bungie's got going on, we'll get back into the swing of things. But with that said, the Q&A still works the same on Monday as it does on Sunday. Y'all motherfuckers, leave the questions in the comment section down below. Pick a few of them out, and we'll see where this leads us. But how about we get on with the going on with the first Q&A coming from Johnny Reyes, who wants to know what happened to my partnership with Machinima. This is actually kind of funny to me, because you're not the only person to ask this recently. In fact, it's probably one of the most popular questions on my channel, just because I had my custom MAK Machinima intro with the thunder and lightning for so long in fact, that people tell me that when they watch Machinima's videos on another channel, they subconsciously expected to see the thunder and lightning from my intro. And sometimes we're disappointed when it didn't happen. Which is kind of cool to think that anything that I've done in life got so ingrained in some people's head that they almost conditioned themselves to expect my custom portion of the Machinima intros when watching another content creator's video. But sadly, I made a video on this too a couple weeks back, but I had to get rid of the Machinima intro. At least for now. I might bring it back in the future when this whole shitstorm dies down. But sadly, there are some YouTubers out there that don't read contracts when they sign them. And they sign bad contracts willingly, and then they blame the company that signed them on that contract for giving them a bad contract, when in reality, no one forces your hand to sign a fucking contract. People that sign bad contracts are people that, one, have no idea what the fuck they're doing, and they just see the ability to make money and they jump on it the first chance they get without reading shit over and signing shit that they probably don't agree with. And two, most likely are people that had zero to little faith in themselves starting out as a YouTube channel by signing a contract that they don't agree with just for the ability to be able to make a little bit of money. Because if they really thought that they were going to grow fast enough, they wouldn't have signed a shitty contract. But when their channel fucking explodes in hindsight's 2020, and they're sitting there holding their dick, pissing in the wind, losing 40% of their pay because they thought that they had to sign the first contract company. Who the fuck signs the first contract a company offers you? Everyone knows the first contract in business is called the line casted. Do you see fish jumping on the first shitty worm they see plop in a lake? Fuck no! Do you see fishermen using the best worm in their tackle, their best lure, on the first cast in the morning? Fuck no! And everyone should know that the first rule of contracts, before you even get to the cardinal rule of contracts and signing something that you didn't read, that don't ever sign something that you didn't read. That's the cardinal rule of contract. But the first rule of contracts, before you even get to reading the contract, the first rule is that nothing is official until that piece of paper has not just your signature, but both parties' signature as well. That is when a contract is complete. Everything up till then is open for negotiation. I'll repeat that again. Everything on a contract is open for negotiation until signed. Even if it's a clause that the company that's trying to get you to sign that contract says that's non-negotiable. You say, well, you know, that's dependent upon me to get my signature on this contract. It doesn't look like we'll be able to come to agreement. Walk away. Some people just don't understand how business works, and they panic when they see how much that they're losing on their contract. Let me tell you something. If you are signed to a company and you're making them tons of money, and they see that your channel exploded and that you're making a little bit more money than they expected to, it's possible that you can also, you know, reopen lines of negotiation from that point on and be like, hey, you know, my channel's exploded now. If you re-sign me to a better, you know, split now, you're gonna have me for another 2 years. That's what they want. They want the time. They don't really give a fuck about how much money they're making off you. They want the time on your channel, because anything after that can happen. Your channel can blow up again and they'll make even more money. But like I said, these people, they panic and they openly attack their network, making their subscribers hate anything Machinima, including my channel. So sadly, because people don't understand shit and how business works, during the month of December, I did experience a smaller margin of people willing to subscribe due to my open affiliation with Machinima. So the intro had to go for a bit, because as much as I love Machinima and I'm grateful for everything that they've done for me, I'm not gonna allow somebody's dumbass beef with the company that I'm signed to affect or even jeopardize what the fuck I'm trying to do on mine. Ain't nobody got time for that. And the next question comes from Mike Duffy, who wants to know how the whole getting healthy thing has worked out for MAK in 2015. Alright, so for those of you guys that just joined us since the Taken King time, not really familiar with what he's going on about, MAK is old. I'm old as fuck. I'm 33 years old. And even though that doesn't sound old, these ain't highway breezing through life miles. These are hard stop and go city miles. Ain't no cruise control here. And if you take into account human history and you look at humans' lifespans without modern amenities like medicine, shelter, or rapidly advancing technology of today, if you strip all that away, humans don't really live too long. We live to like 30s and 40s in a typical human lifespan. Yeah, I'm not ready to call it quits yet. So that's why I wanted to make the lifestyle change of eating better and exercising on a daily basis to make sure that I can try to keep my meat suit going as long as possible. And last year I made some pretty badass progress in the summer. I got up to somewhere around like 2 miles a day, swimming daily in the pool, which for an ex-smoker like me is fucking amazing. But sadly, I popped my ACL late August time, and I I started going to the gym more infrequently. The Taken King dropped, and then winter happened, and I haven't been to the gym since October. Now, I foresaw that coming. Anyway, I'm not much of a winter person, and since, I do love swimming for exercise, being wet in the cold with hair that reaches down to the middle of your back is just, it's not real conducive to a good time. And now this is supposed to get back to the 60 degrees sometime next week. Hopefully spring can get here early and I get my ass back to the gym on a daily basis. I've really enjoyed going to the gym. It was a nice ride there and a quiet time in the pool, just doing laps. It really did help regulate my bipolar and depression naturally, which is something that I struggle with on a daily basis. But that's a whole nother story. That brings us to Not Silent Falcon, who asks how the current situation with my son, his mother, and my current girlfriend work out. Because he only gets to see his father on the holidays. And I feel for you, man. And I feel for your dad, too. I really do. Because, I spent a large portion of my life being relegated to what I call an ABC dad or a paycheck dad. Anniversaries, birthdays, Christmases, that's basically when you get to see your kid, and you also get to send the checks out once a month to the baby's mama for child support. And it sucks. It really does. I would have loved to got to see my son on like a daily basis growing up for him, but sometimes life just doesn't work out the way you want it to, or the way you try to plan it. You try to plan life as much as you want. You ever see a kid at the beach with a sandcastle? That's what life does to you when you plan shit. It just comes over and just starts kicking your sandcastle. And fuck you! Fuck your sandcastle. But I've actually, sat down and talked about this with my son a few years back. I know that he wishes that, we got to see each other more often. But, from like the ages of 5 to 10 years old, it's impossible to do anything with a kid. Like when kids are babies, it's relatively easy. You basically have a potato that poops. It just sits there and poops, cries, lets you know it pooped. you buckle them up, you pack a sack full of shit, and you head on out. That's what it's like going out with a baby. When you have a kid, it's like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, 10 years old. It's just they're just fucking running around, screaming their fucking heads off, and they're pumped full of sugar, and trying to get a kid that's 5 to 10 years old to go anywhere without it being an actual production is just fucking exhausting. It really is. And when you couple the fact that my baby's mama, she lived way out yonder for those years from like 5 to 10. Recently, she's moved out to where I grew up. And that's a whole nother story, because straight up, that bitch went out, got married, moved closer to me, and never told me. And I still gotta go out for court and child support way out yonder, about an hour and a half away from where I live. Because the bitch never switched over her address with the courts. So she does that just to be a bitch, because it's only a couple minutes from where she lives to get to where she's gotta go for court. But for me, I gotta go all the way up and over across the goddamn fucking state to get there. It's just absolutely, that's some bullshit. But shit. But now that she lives closer, and he's 13 years old this year. He's older. and he has his own smartphone, and we chop it up on the text messages all day long, and he can call me and tell me he wants me to come over. Like I said, since he lives close, I can just go and, you know, scoop him up a lot easier than when it was back when he was living out in the goddamn fucking boonies. But, I mean, life just got in the way for a little bit. But now, you know, he's older. He doesn't need his mother as much as me. You know, growing boy needs their mother as much as possible. But, you know, now that he's older, I get to do all that badass fun shit with him that he was too little to do or appreciate as a kid. Especially since now that he's into a lot of the things that I'm into now. You know, he's into sports, he's into shoes and shit like that. So, yeah, even though I didn't get to be, you know, the father of the year for my son in his formative years, and I'll admit that, you know, I probably could have done a little bit better of a job trying to get along with my baby's mama. But, you know, she's stubborn, I'm stubborn, we were both fucking young. And, you know, when you get young, stupid, and stubborn together, it's just like fucking bulls butting heads. But, you know, he knows that I'm here anytime that he needs me. And that's more than I ever had from a father for me. So I feel like, you know, trying, man. Doing the best I can. And that brings us to the final question of the day from the Monster 5103, who just wants to know if there was a time in my life when I've had to go without food. And sadly, yes. Now, I don't want you guys to think that I was like National Geographic, ribs touching, you know, skinny like that. No, we were pretty fine off for most of my life. But there's a few times in my life, you know, growing up, where we didn't really have any money to buy food. And I mean, we were fucking poor. I mentioned it in my Road to 30 a little bit that, yeah, I confronted my mother once with the memory that I had, you know, me, my mom, and my brother. We were really young. Like, I couldn't have been no more than like 2 years old in time. And the only thing we had to eat was beer and potato chips in the house. I remember this vividly. Budweiser nipper cans. You remember the little tiny 6-packs? They look like little teacup cans, like Dinklebot-sized beer cans. So like 8-ounce half beer cans. And a bag of hers sour cream and onion potato chip. The shiny green bag. That was dinner. And I was too young at the time to appreciate how poor we were, because in my mind I was like, yeah, I'm eating like a big person, drinking some beer, having some chips. But you know, I didn't really get to appreciate the gravity of the situation being so young. But I think the hardest time in my life without food had to have been around, I think, I had to have been like somewhere around like 8 or 9, because it was right before I became old enough to get my own paper routes and make my own money. And I remember coming home, my mom was passed out upstairs, most likely drunk as fuck. It's pretty much, you know, daily routine in my young childhood life. I would come home, bitch about some shit, fuck some shit up, go upstairs, pass out. But I remember looking for dinner that night. There wasn't really shit in the house to eat, which was pretty shitty because, yo, usually we had like a big ass bag of ramen noodles at the very least. I'm talking like, you know, the fucking goddamn grocery bags and plastic ones. You put 30 of your hand to carry them on in the goddamn, because you're not making 2 trips in the car. You know what I'm talking about? We usually had one of those filled with packs of ramen noodles at the very least. But no. There wasn't anything in the house. I should say there wasn't anything in the house ready-made to eat. Because at that point, I couldn't cook. And, I mean, there might have been, like, some hamburger helper and some ground beef. But asking a fucking 8-year-old kid to whip up some hamburger helper after never fucking cooking in his life is just ludicrous. But, yeah. My mother was drunk. Never went to the store. Never got any food. And I'm pretty sure that's probably one of the last times in my life I remember ever go to sleep without food in my stomach, which is probably one of the worst feelings you could ever have in life, honestly, is to be so hungry that you just lay down, you go to sleep, and you tell yourself, if you go to sleep now, you wake up early, you might be able to make it to school early enough to get a quick bowl of cereal with the rest of the free lunch kids. But I remember it was around this time, maybe it wasn't this specific time, but it was around this time, laying in bed, waiting to fall asleep with some of them hunger pangs in my stomach, just bumping, you know, just turning over like a washer machine, man. It's like, literally feels like somebody's stretching your guts out like it's a piece of... You ever see girls, they fucking take their fucking gum and they twirl it around their finger and they stretch it out and fucking like that, they play with that shit. That's what it feels like to go to sleep hungry. And that's pretty much when I made myself the promise that no matter what I had to do in life, whether it's lie, cheat, steal, I don't give a fuck what it is. I'm not going to bed hungry ever again. It's probably been one of the deciding, motivating factors in my life of why I work so hard, so much. It's just, I don't ever want to go back to that point in my life. You know, I can't. Fuck that. I won't go back to that shit. Never again. Not me. Not now. Not ever. So, my name is Jay. MorninAfterKill. I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys rate, comment, subscribe. If you can leave a thumbs up on the video, I'd highly appreciate it because it gives me motivation to make more videos for you motherfuckers that watch my motherfucking videos. Don't forget, even though this is a Monday and it's not a Sunday Q&A, it still works the same goddamn way. Leave your questions in the comment section down below. We'll pick a few of them. We'll chew the fat next week. My name's Jay. MorninAfterKill. Thanks for watching. And I'm going to see you guys later.